So we all make mistakes. And today I wanted to talk about one of mine that will cost my progeny and my family and my last name uh, forever. And this is a mistake that I wish I had not made, but I made it. And I think it's important for everybody to acknowledge your mistakes so that you can learn from them and understand why you made those mistakes so you can understand why that mindset was wrong. So many people don't bother evaluating why their thinking was wrong, and so they never learn and move forward. One of the reasons why I have managed to stay relatively successful through real estate, through equities, through gold, and now Bitcoin is because I have the ability to change my mind. For years, I told people that Bitcoin was a scam. And then in 2020, I sent out a note to my clients at the time and said, I think I've been wrong. And here's why I've been wrong. And here's why my thinking has changed. So many people are addicted to being right, being not being right, because to me that's a good addiction. But so many people are addicted to the to looking good all the time, never ever being wrong, that they just make these mistakes and then continue having to double down on them. And I think that's just stupid. So this is the story of how I sold 20 bitcoins after doubling my money in 2016. It took 2 weeks to double, firstly, right? And I thought Bitcoin was a scam at this point. And again, this is why I would implore you to please subscribe to the channel and subscribe to all your favorite Bitcoin channels, because we need to get the message of Bitcoin out there, because there are still people right now who think Bitcoin is a scam, even though it's now an SEC approved product. And we want to get that message out to those people. And the way we can do that is by you subscribing, because the faster you subscribe, the faster the algorithm puts the content out in front of more people. So please subscribe to the channel. It's very, very important. But I wanted to profit, right? I thought Bitcoin was a scam, but I wanted to profit. So my best friend and I, while smoking a cigar, and if you go to my Twitter page, if you look at the video, the photo right at the top of my Twitter profile, the reason why I chose that photo is because that photo was in the summer of 2023. However, the chair that I'm sitting in, the venue that I'm in, is the exact same chair that this story played out in. So it's a little bit of a reminder to myself, to remind myself, no matter how smart I am, I made this stupid mistake, right? And most successful people that I know have their mistakes lodged right at the front of their brain, and you might be like this too, right? Your mistakes sort of guide where you go next, and the difference between those that keep being successful and those that that are not successful, at least in my experience, is that the people who continue being successful learn from those mistakes, and the people that don't just keep regretting those mistakes. So we were smoking cigars, sitting on that chair at the top of my Twitter profile, and we bought 20 bitcoins each, 20 coins each. We were making money. It wasn't, it wasn't like we were poor. Again, I've never come into the Bitcoin space claiming that I, made all my money with Bitcoin. I didn't. In fact, I've caught up a large portion of people's, stacks from years ago, because I came in with money, right? You have two resources in life. You either have time or you have money. And the difference is how you're going to execute on the one that you have. And I had money, right? So, and unfortunately for a lot of people, they only have time. But I had money, and so therefore, I could execute on acquiring my stack. But so we bought 20 bitcoins each, and we sold them 2 weeks later, like dumbasses, right? We were sitting in the same chairs, by the way, when we sold them. A lot of people had no idea that the photo on top of my Twitter profile was literally that chair until I put this tweet out. But yeah, that's the truth, right? It's not just there because it looks cool. It does look cool, but it's for my mind to remember that I can be stupid at times, and that's important, right? So, by the way, those coins today would be worth $860,000. Those 20 coins would be worth $860,000. Um, and potentially, depending on how this cycle plays out over the next 18 months, it could be worth $9 million. And that will always be a regret, because at some point in the future, that extra, let's say it goes to $5 million a coin in my lifetime, you're looking at $100 million right there, right? In that one decision to take 2 weeks and sell those coins. I allow myself a daily reminder, and that is that photo and other things that have happened in my life, and other thought processes that I have, to remind myself to not be stupid on a daily basis. And one of the ways that people are being stupid right now that I can see every single day is realizing that, with Bitcoin, that BlackRock has not only applied, but now the ETF has been approved. It is trading. The ETFs are gobbling up 2,000 Bitcoin a day, and they're still refusing to learn. They're still refusing to actually take the effort to learn. And I want to just take this video just to implore you to actually learn. There's so many resources out there. The book that did it for me was The Bitcoin Standard. If you want the training that I put my parents through, so to say, the conversation flow that I put them through, then go into the description of the video and you'll see the link to what I named it the $5 million Bitcoin. And it's a first free training that you can go through and learn about Bitcoin, what it is from start to finish, and introduce it to your parents or people that you care about or whatever else. But most importantly, we as human beings will always, someone's interrupting my rant here. We as human beings will always make mistakes. The difference between the ones that will make it to the end successfully and the ones that will make it to the end as failures is, do you continue regretting it and then allowing that regret to stop you from taking action, or do you learn the lesson, maintain the regret, because I don't think that ever goes away personally, and act despite that in the right direction? So that's really, the message here is that I had those 20 Bitcoins, and I sold them in 2016, 17. And then watched the run up to 20,000, watch it drop back down to 3,500, and thought, hey, I was right. I told you it was all a scam. And then 3 years later, I started. Just imagine how much Bitcoin I could have accumulated in that 3-year window between 2017 and 2020, which is when the light bulb went on for me in March of 2020. So, it's very, very important to understand that you have one chance in life at certain things, and you have to take that chance. Sometimes you have to go backwards to remind yourself that is the chance that you should have taken. And I've had to do that with a couple of things in life, and Bitcoin was one of them, right? I thought it was a scam. I moved forward. I had to go backwards to realize I was wrong, and that was really the direction that I should have been moving in. But a lot of people don't do that. They just waste their time focusing on trying to learn new things rather than learning from the lessons that life has already given you, because they're ashamed of going through the actual lessons that life has given them. And that's a sad thing, but that's what we're facing right now with Bitcoin. So many people are out here that are, not learning the lesson right now, and they're going to live to regret it. And the difference is that most people are going to live to regret it and then not do anything to bring themselves out on the other side of it. But that is the reality of the world. That is what is going to happen. So I just want to implore you, if you are a Bitcoiner, to stack enough Bitcoin for the people that you love as well, that are making this ignorant mistake that will need your support in the future. And for those people who are being ignorant and dumb, it's not even ignorant and dumb. You're just arrogant, right? You're just arrogant. You think you don't need to know about something that is emerging after BlackRock has given you the stamp to learn about it, after the SEC has said, hey, you should probably learn about it, and you're still not learning about it. It's just arrogance. And that's okay. There's a lot of arrogant people in the world, and that's absolutely okay. But I certainly remember those 20 coins that I sold, and I'll never forget those 20 coins that I sold, because again, potentially at the end of this cycle, they'll be worth extra $9 million. So, and I'm sure someone in my future could use that extra, few $1 million uh, to execute whatever they wanted to execute. And ultimately, Bitcoin is the hardest, scarcest asset humanity has ever created, and therefore, it it can never be bought again, right? Those 20 coins could never be bought again, and that's extremely important to realize and humble yourself to. I don't really believe in the idea of humility, as a lot of people have figured out on conversations with me on Twitter. I think humility uh, basically means having a low opinion of yourself, and I don't understand it like that, right? That doesn't make sense to me. I think you can be um, confident without being arrogant at the same time. I don't know whether humility, the definition of humility, makes sense to me. However, I will use that word for now. I think you should humble yourself, come to the realization that there are only 21 million Bitcoin. If you buy Bitcoins today and you sell them tomorrow and the price runs on you, you're not going to be able to buy the same amount of Bitcoin, and that's just is what it is. But ultimately, despite me selling those 20 Bitcoins, despite all the people that are arrogant not learning about it, despite all of that, there are still only three rules to Bitcoin. Step number one, you buy Bitcoin. Step number two, you shut the fuck up. And step number three, you get fabulously wealthy.